don't know how often I'll do video game reviews on this channel, but I got a chance to play Uncharted 4: A Thief's End, and I wanted to review it. So here's the thing about Uncharted. Uncharted is literally everything I hate about video games, yet I love it so much. It's in my top 5 favorite video game series of all time. Because normally I hate games where you're just going from room to room, shooting things and trying to activate the next cutscene. I just get really bored by that and I don't find it very satisfying. But Uncharted is just so good. Like, you really feel like you're playing a movie. It's just a blast from beginning to end, and it captures the fun and absurdity of adventure movies really well. Developer Naughty Dog is just great at making games. I mean, The Last of Us is fantastic too, even though it's just that same, walk into a room, sneak around, shoot things, cue a cutscene. I mean, obviously I'm overgeneralizing a little bit, but you know what I mean. Normally I just get bored by that kind of thing, but the people at Naughty Dog are so great at telling stories that I can't help but love their games. I don't know how many people share this experience, but I honestly enjoy watching these games, maybe even more so than playing them. Like, anytime I gain control of the character's actions again after a cutscene, I was like, oh man, I wish the story had gone on a little longer. But anyways, all that to say, I was really excited to play A Thief's End. And for the most part, it delivered. It's not the best Uncharted game, but it's the best Uncharted story by far. And since I'm more interested in the storytelling aspect of it more so than the gameplay, I think it was probably my personal favorite Uncharted game. See, the thing is, by the time the game is over, everything starts to feel kind of samey when it comes to the gameplay. It's just a lot of climbing, shooting, climbing, falling, climbing again, shooting again. The game is probably a little longer than it needs to be. I saw a lot of reviewers saying that the third act is just a little too bloated, and I can't really explain why without getting into spoilers for the game, but I get why the third act is kind of the length that it is. There are characters in the game who need to have adventures together for the full weight of the story to pay off, and so giving those characters an extended third act to explore and bond over these shared experiences is really important. But with that said, I think that if they had found a way to switch it up in the third act and give those characters a unique way to adventure together instead of just having them do the same stuff we'd been doing for the previous 10 hours or so, then maybe everybody would be talking about how this is a near perfect game. As it is, yeah, it's a flawed video game, but it's still one of the best told stories I've ever played through in a video game. I mean, everything about it is great. The treasure that Nathan is seeking drives the story and has all kinds of twists and turns. Like, as the game is kind of starting to reach its conclusion, you start to piece together the mystery even before Nathan does. And I don't mean that to say that it's predictable, because it's not, but the sets and locations tell the story so well. Like, you'll walk into a room full of skeletons and it really feels like you're unearthing a centuries-old mystery. And if that were it, that would be plenty, but the mysteries that Nathan is uncovering act as a great metaphor for the relationships of the characters in the game. It's just pure storytelling and it all feels so right. It's just really good. I try not to judge art based on how much I personally agree with the point of view that's being presented, but this game has a really good message. The relationships of the characters feel real and genuine. You're rooting for them and you want them to do the right thing. The relationship of Nathan and Elena in particular, holy cow, it's so good. They feel like real, flawed people, and it's definitely the most interesting dynamic in the game. Like, there's this one line of dialogue from Elena that I honestly, for a second, forgot I was playing a video game because it hurt to hear. It was meant to be painful and vulnerable, and it worked so well. If you've played through Uncharted 4 already, you probably know what I'm talking about, but it's such a good moment in the game, and it just really solidified in my mind that I was playing something special. This game works really well too because it takes its time. It's slow and methodical. It takes a minute to breathe when it needs to. It's not in a hurry to finish, but everything is working to get us to the conclusion. Which, by the way, the conclusion is perfect. So in a nutshell, the gameplay is fun, but it's nothing new, and it suffers a little bit because The Thief's End is about 4 or 5 hours longer than the other 3 Uncharted games. But on the flip side, the story sort of necessitates that added length. I just wish they had done something in Act 3 to switch things up so the gameplay didn't get so mundane. But overall, it's a fantastic story with a very fitting conclusion to the Uncharted series. I definitely recommend you check it out, especially if you've enjoyed the other Uncharted games, and the epilogue is perfect. I'll just leave it at that. All right, guys, I'll see you next time.